Here to discuss, retired Army Brigadier General David McGinnis, a member of National Security Leaders for America. Sir, good to see you.
Alex, thank you for having me.
As I just mentioned, we do know the Prime Minister for Israel and President Trump spoke today. What do you expect those discussions to entail at this moment in the war?
Well, the first issue we have is we have a strategic chaos and there's no real apparent. Although I'm not in the inside, there's no really plan, or the plan that they have is not addressing the critical centers of influence, centers of gravity, to cause the Iranians to move in the direction that we want them to move. Obviously, the Iranians, at least the Republican Guard's objective is they want to hang on to their nuclear program, and the objectives of the president and Prime Minister Netanyahu is they don't want that to happen. However, there are three basic centers of gravity, as I mentioned. One is the Republican Guard. Two is the fossil fuel bases of the Iranian economy, and the third one is the Straits of Hormuz, which allows all of these, plus the lack of inaction on the part of the United States, allows Iran to use their influence on their Gulf neighbors to keep the Israeli-American axis from actually moving against them. It appears that they've convinced them, and in this drone strike you just reported, the three drones as a message, hey, we can take out your fossil-based economies. We still have the capability to do that. Don't let the Americans do anything.
Yeah, what's the right response from the UAE at this time? I mean, obviously, they have not confirmed that these drones came from Iran, but they do say that their sole nuclear power plant was threatened, was targeted, and was hit. Do they have a right to defend themselves here? And if so, is that just playing into the hands of Iran if they do defend themselves in some way militarily?
Well, I think they have a right to defend themselves. Every country does. But what Iran has done later on in the initial conflict, and also in the period of the ceasefire, for want of a better term, worked very hard to convince those folks on the other side of the Persian Gulf that we can do a lot of damage to you. We still have the capability to do that. So it's in your interest to keep the President of the United States from taking any further action and allowing us to do what we want to do. And basically, it's put the United States on the horns of a dilemma. The president's going to have to act. He's going to have to act. He's going to have to generate support from the people of the United States, the Congress of the United States, and from other sources to convince the Iranians that something real is going to happen. Because right now, you heard the Iranian foreign minister; they don't believe that the president has a lot of credibility with what he's saying or what he says he's going to do.
So we do know, at least from reporting from Axios, that the president plans to call his top security advisors into the Situation Room on Tuesday. Say that you're in that room advising the president. Would you urge military action at this time?
I would urge an array of actions, including opening the Straits of Hormuz, seriously threatening it, not necessarily destroying, but threatening the fossil fuel capabilities of the Iranian economy. And I would work through a number of sources to deal with the Republican Guard and get them out of the way, because it's the Iranian Republican Guard, if there is any real negotiations, that continually stops the negotiations from coming to fruition. That is the source of the delay on the Iranian side. They hold the power base.
What does the Iranian regime need to see from the president and from the United States for them to realize, oh, okay, he really does mean business. We probably should get to that negotiating table quick?
I think a series, as I mentioned, a series of firm and direct actions, some of which would involve the military, but not necessarily the use of military force unless the Iranians counter us. That would relate to the Straits of Hormuz and opening them up. And also doing things to encumber, as example, Karg Island, occupying Karg Island. And if the Iranians fight us, we use force. If they don't fight us, we occupy it and don't let them use it. So there's options here for the president. the fact that they're having a meeting to discuss those options raises my concerns on what strategy they had when they started this thing in the first place. And I think that's a discussion that a lot of Americans and people around the world are saying. I just read something in Der Spiegel today, some commenting on the part of the Germans and the German government. And it's a situation that's got to be turned around very quickly.
Retired Army Brigadier General David McGinnis, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, Alex, anytime.